I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the special district association responsible for bringing the area free to access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station. If there's a news story or event information that you would like to share, call us at 970-677-4119. And if you're a business or organization, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments run on the channel. This is the Monday program for July 20th, 2020, DCTV Daily News. I think it's been a whirlwind of a weekend since the governor's announcement and proclamation of executive order for mask or face covering wearing, which came into effect at midnight, July 16th, last Thursday. Between that and the news from the Dolores County Public Health Department on Friday night that the county has now data from tests of 86 individuals with 84 negative tests, 1 positive test recovered, and 1 positive active, with still no deaths. We do wish a speedy recovery to the one who is sick right now, and all of those struggling with various health issues and non-COVID, Project COVID related health issues. We, of course, live in a big, long county. The census estimates of over 1,000 square miles, with a population projected of 2,064 as of April 1st, 2020 on census.gov, such that we have about a 2-person per square mile density. If that's not social distancing, I don't know what is. This marks over 14 days since the July 4th weekend, in which we saw an uptick of family and friends coming into the county to celebrate the Independence Day weekend. Though just one case, of course, triggers the data numbers, the 0 deaths and 84 negative tests bodes well for our rural location. Continue to wash your hands often and do all of the healthy things everyone knows already, and stay at home if you are ill. The Journal reports an update on what they headline, quote, everything you need to know about Colorado's new mask order. So hold on, take a deep breath, here it goes. Governor Jared Polis announced a statewide mask mandate this week that took effect early Friday. The order requires people in Colorado who are older than 10 years old to wear a mask covering their nose and mouth when they are in any public indoor space. The mandate is set to end in 30 days, August 15th, but the governor has the power to extend it. The decision from the Colorado governor was a surprising reversal from his recent stance in which he said a mask mandate would be impossible to enforce. Quote, we can't have a police officer in every store, Polis said at a news conference just last Tuesday. But Polis cited recent data on Thursday showing case numbers are climbing and evidence that a mandate increases mask wearing by 15% as the reason for his change in position on issuing this order. Several business owners also pushed for a statewide mandate to achieve greater compliance from outsiders. Previously, Polis said that some shop and restaurant owners did not feel that they had the authority to kick out people for refusing to wear masks. The new executive order requires businesses to refuse service to customers who are not wearing masks and to post signs that instruct customers to wear a mask before entering businesses. As of Friday, there were 155 cases of COVID-19 over in La Plata County and 89 in Montezuma County. And of course, we know 2 with 1 recovered here. A total of 3 people have died with COVID-19 in La Plata and Montezuma counties. In Montezuma County, 2 died because of the virus. The new mask wearing law raises several questions, though, including what constitutes an indoor public space and whether staying 6 feet apart means that people can remove their masks in the office. The Durango Herald followed it up with the governor's office and San Juan Basin Public Health to answer readers' questions about the mask order, including whether it is constitutional. First up, what is a public indoor space? According to Polis's mandate, public indoor spaces include all enclosed areas that are not a place of residence and open to the public, such as places of employment, places that provide services, all offices, lobbies, and elevators, indoor businesses and common areas, restaurants when you are not seated at your table, transportation such as buses and trains, places of worship, malls and retail stores, libraries, museums, theaters, and casinos, if any of those are open, gyms including areas around indoor pools but not in the pool, private country clubs and social clubs, and even if people maintain a 6-foot distance from other people in public indoor spaces, they are still expected to wear a mask, that according to the mandate. Hotel and motel rooms are not considered public indoor spaces. When do I not have to wear a mask, then they ask? People are not required to wear a mask in a public indoor space if they are hearing impaired or otherwise disabled, or if they are communicating with someone who is hearing impaired or disabled, and being able to see the mouth is essential to communication. Sitting at a restaurant, exercising alone or with people you work with, receiving a service where the temporary removal of the face mask is essential, and officiating a religious service, giving a speech for broadcast or an audience. So that one applies to me now. I gather it makes for better understanding of what I'm saying for the news. The next question is, do I have to wear a mask outside? The executive order does not make it a requirement to wear a mask outdoors, unless people are waiting for public transportation such as a bus or a train. However, San Juan Basin Public Health encourages people to wear masks outdoors when they can't stand 6 feet apart from each other. What happens if I refuse to wear a mask, they ask. People who refuse to wear a mask in places that are required may be in violation of Colorado law and could be charged with trespassing. The penalties could include a fine or jail. Businesses that do not kick out people who are not wearing masks or require their employees to wear masks could have their license revoked. And a side note that as of last Friday, no legal actions have been taken against businesses in our region thus far with regard to licensing, although plenty of verbal threats have been made, I was told firsthand by sources. This may all change this week. Another question is, can cities and counties opt out of the statewide mask order? Counties that are certified for Protect Our Neighbors, that's a phase that the governor's office enacted as an opportunity out of the stay at home, safer at home, and now Protect Our Neighbors phase for Colorado State. Over in Utah, by the way, instead of having named phases, they go by a color chart, such as the red, orange, yellow, green, for the different levels of what they are enacting over there. That's just something interesting. And so if you do have a certified Protect Our Neighbors stance for your county, you may choose to be exempted from the statewide mask order, according to the governor's office. As of Friday, none of Colorado's 64 counties were certified for Protect Our Neighbors, according to the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. To qualify, a county must submit a containment and mitigation plan for what it would do if cases started to rise again. Counties and towns can also adopt stricter mask guidelines than what is set forward in the new executive order. Another note that the BOCC Dolores County meeting is being held today, Monday the 20th. DCTV will update on any relevant information coming out of that meeting with regard to the county applying for or potentially applying for the Protect Our Neighbors status and or any opting out or removing our status from being in the state of emergency to some lesser degree of concern or not. The next question in the article, is the mask order a law? They write, yes, public health orders have the force of law. People who do not comply with the new order can be charged with trespassing. Again, a side note about this being a, quote, law, in that legally a law is enacted by the houses of government along with ratification of the governors with all types of rules and regulations to oversee that process. However, in times of a health emergency, which was enacted earlier this year on a national level and state and local level here, much of the rules of laws processing is overridden by the state in emergency status. It makes it a sort of slow, soft, martial law type of situation in which, for the better of the people in the eyes of the governing body, they can pretty much do what they feel they need to. This has all been, so far, a matter of whether the enforcement operators within the system, currently still the sheriff and police departments, but hold on for the bumpy ride ahead on this, take a stand to protect and serve, being peace officers, or be the strong arm of the other agencies. And that is different from county to county on different opinions from various sheriffs. More on that later in the week. The next question in the article is the statewide mask mandate constitutional? Denver lawyer Anthony Vorst, who specializes in a range of legal issues, said that the governor is, quote, allowed to place reasonable restrictions on its citizens for the health and safety of the community, end quote. This is a basic principle under the Constitution, he said. The likelihood of enforcement is also very small, Vorst said, because law enforcement will be stretched too thin. Under Colorado state law, Polis has the executive authority to do what he thinks is necessary to deal with the pandemic, said Robert Peck, an attorney with the Center for Constitutional Litigation in Washington, D.C. Quote, people talk in general terms about their personal and civil liberties, Peck said, but they often can't name which constitutional right they're talking about. The legality question is less about personal rights and more about power rights, Peck said. It is legal to implement trespassing penalties for not wearing a mask, he said. If someone is drunk and dangerous to others in a store, it is legal to kick them out, he said. In the case of Project COVID-19, not wearing a mask allegedly is dangerous because it could cause the spread of the virus to others. Next up, why do children 10 years and younger not have to wear a mask? Well, according to the information from the CDPHE, data shows children in this age group are less likely to spread COVID-19 than older children and adults. They also won't wear a mask correctly. That's for some adults as well. The governor's office stressed that children ages 2 and younger should not wear face coverings. Is wearing a mask bad for your health? Wow, now this is a hotly debated topic over social media. You can find data and research and facts and figures to support both sides. With so many variables, your head will spin before you can put a mask on it. According to the Mayo Clinic Health System in Arizona, they report that it's a top-rated hospital in the U.S. News and World Report. So they say that there is no health risk to wearing a face mask for an extended period of time for healthy adults. Carbon dioxide will diffuse through the mask as people breathe. Again, if you want to get into a debate, go online, and there are plenty of forums to do so. And I'm not going to get into that today either, but as a suggestion, you might see how South Dakota has been handling this situation and look to their successes as a possible point of strength and more relevant to our rural region than comparing the situation in Denver metro area. When I've spoken to locals, it's obvious why we love to live here and not choose to live in Denver. Their problems and solutions don't fit the mix of our problems and solutions, and we'll leave it at that for now. This weather drought situation may have an even greater impact on the lives of our residents than the CoV SARS-2 coronavirus and mask wearing will. So now let's take a look at that local weather forecast. Not much rain accumulation over the weekend here in DC, still at just 0.17 for the month of July. But it does look like the week ahead may bring in something though. For today, Monday, sunny with a high near 90 degrees and light east winds. Tonight, mostly clear and a low around 61 degrees, and the winds shift from north to south overnight. This may be the last good day to look for the comet below the Big Dipper, somewhere between 10 and 11 p.m.-ish. Social media has a lot of locals being able to catch a glimpse, and if you have a good photo, post it on the Dove Creek Local Weather Photo Group or share it with DCTV viewers. Now into Tuesday, we're looking at a 20% chance for showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. The rest of the day, sunny with a high near 90 degrees. Tuesday night, an increase to 30% chance for showers, mainly before midnight, with mostly cloudy skies and a low around 59 with calm to no winds. Into Wednesday, a slight chance of showers and then a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy with a cooler high near 77 degrees. Wednesday night, we're looking at the chance for showers and thunderstorms tapering off to 30% before 9 p.m. and a chance for showers between 9 p.m. and midnight. Mostly cloudy and a low around 56 overnight. Into Thursday, again, a 30% chance for afternoon showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny with a high near 83 degrees. Thursday night, again, a chance for showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy and a low around 57. And repeat for Friday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny and a high near 80 degrees. Friday night, a chance for showers and thunderstorms mainly before midnight with partly cloudy skies and a low around 57. And continuing into the weekend, looking to Saturday for a chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny with a high near 80. Saturday night, a chance for showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, a low around 57. So this may well get a monsoon season kicked into gear. We are so very much in need of moisture for this area to keep up those prayers and rain dances. And now, back to the news. In the midst of all the challenges on a daily basis, here's the news from the Journal moving forward on old business from Cortez, the marijuana dispensary front, with a file photo. Nearly 2 years after denying a retail marijuana license for New View, that's spelled N-U-V-U-E, Pharma LLC, the Cortez City Council on Tuesday last week approved the store's request to open. The approval came after months of litigation, a local judge's order that remanded the matter to the City Council, and a lengthy discussion on Tuesday night about whether the proposed dispensary met distance requirements set by the city and state. Ultimately, the council determined New View met the necessary conditions and should be able to open. The approval was 6-0. Councilor Sue Betts recused herself because of a connection to a New View attorney. New View Pharma LLC, based in Pueblo, applied to open a marijuana dispensary in Cortez in the summer of 2018. That seems like a long time ago. Looking to set up shop at 503 Patton Street across U.S. Highway 160 near Denny Lake. Initially, the city determined that the dispensary met distance requirements set by the city and state, and the company's owner, Dr. Malik Hassan, passed a background check. By law, marijuana shops must be at least 1,500 feet from a school, daycare center, or dispensary. Several residents opposed the dispensary in letters to the city and at a public hearing on September 11th of 2018. Some said Cortez already had too many marijuana shops. At that hearing, the council unanimously voted to deny the license, later saying their rationale for denial had to do with neighborhood concerns and that most other marijuana dispensaries are in more commercial areas of town. In November of 2018, New View Pharma filed a complaint for judicial review, alleging that the council exercised, quote, arbitrary and capricious abuse of discretion in its denial. New View also claimed that opponents of the motion didn't live close enough to the proposed location to be directly affected, and that the concerns were ungrounded. And after about a year of litigation, the court agreed with the marijuana company, ruling on November 7th of 2019 that the council's denial was a misapplication, in quotes, of the Cortez Retail Marijuana Code adopted back in 2014. The council was directed to grant New View a new hearing. In the reversal order, Judge Todd Plew concluded that the city erred in allowing people from outside of the, quote, neighborhood under consideration to speak at the public hearing, and that the city's Retail Marijuana Code did not define, quote, neighborhood under consideration. Since then, the city has amended the code to meet the judge's order. The, quote, neighborhood is now defined as the city of Cortez. The rescheduled hearing was initially set for February, but was delayed since a city council quorum was not present. It was pushed once again because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In February and March, though, Cortez Police Lieutenant Andy Brock was directed to reevaluate the safest route from GOAL, G-O-A-L, Academy, to the proposed marijuana shop location. Previously, the city had measured the distance as beginning at GOAL Academy, 2531 East Main Street, adjacent to the Hunan Chinese restaurant, traveling west up to the intersection of Colorado Highway 145 and U.S. Highway 160, crossing 160 via the crosswalk on the westernmost side of the intersection, and then heading east to 503 Patton Street, Colorado 145 Colorado 145 does not have a crosswalk at that intersection. This measured distance would be 1,680 feet. But Brock stated in his evaluation that the safest route was walking directly across U.S. Highway 160 from Lakeside Drive. If this was the case, the distance would be only 865 feet, meaning the shop wouldn't be in compliance with the state's distance requirement of 1,500 feet away from a school. Although this alternative requires crossing without a crosswalk, jaywalking is not legal by city or state law, Brock said, and it would avoid the traffic of the intersection at Colorado 145 and US 160. In summary, quote, and in my opinion, it would be safer to cross at Lakeside Street. Brock wrote in his report, it says, I say this because of the congestion and the difficulty crossing between the two islands at the main Highway 160 intersection. So according to the city code, quote, said distance shall be computed by direct measurement from the nearest property line of the land used for non-licensed purposes to the main entry of the building in which medical marijuana business occurs, using a route of direct pedestrian access measured as a person would walk safely and properly without trespassing, with right angles at crossings with the observance of traffic regulations and lights, end quote. To meet Plew's order, the city had to conduct the hearing in a, quote, quasi-judicial manner, which was redefined by City Attorney Mike Green at the council's February 25th meeting. It operated similarly to a court hearing, with witnesses sworn in by the city clerk before giving testimony and answering questions from the attorneys from both sides. The hearing focused on the distance regulations and/or whether or not GOAL Academy constituted a school. Quote, it is New View's position that the testimony of any interested person must be focused on distance, New View attorney Greg Whitehair said at the hearing's onset. It can be talking about the school, whether it's a school. It can talk about the distance from the school and the safety of the paths. Testimony could not focus on whether or not cannabis was a good idea or if there were too many dispensaries in Cortez, he said. Witnesses from both the city and New View testified. The city presented evidence that the road crossing at Lakeside Drive was safest, citing reports showing fewer accidents there. Quote, "You've got cars coming in every direction, and if you're crossing from west to east, you've got cars that are coming in behind you that you have to watch for," Brock said of the 145-160 intersection while being questioned by City Attorney Mike Green. However, Whitehair argued that the crosswalk at the intersection of Colorado 145 and US 160 was the safest route, with various road and traffic experts testifying that this was the case. Quote, "Safe transportation systems function on order and establish rules and practices," Jim Horn, an engineer with SEH Inc., wrote in a report. Driver expectation is that pedestrians cross at safe and well-marked intersections. A signal-controlled intersection such as US 160, SH 145 is the preferred location for pedestrians to cross as vehicles are stopped for the pedestrian. Another issue arose over whether Goal Academy was technically a school. While Goal Academy serves as an alternative online high school, enrolled students do show up periodically for tutoring and support. The city held that Goal Academy is a school, presenting a statement from a school accreditor, along with a few local news articles. Cortez Associate Planner Neva Connolly testified that it was a, quote, "public charter school under the city's land use code." The land use code defines school as, quote, "school means the use of a site for instructional purposes on an elementary or secondary level approved under the regulations of the state," Connolly said. Whitehair, though, questioned the timing of the permit's issuance, which came after the lawsuit was filed, and added that defining Goal as a school could open the city up to future issues with other online institutions. Quote, "The idea of a school being a physical place and space for students really has to be what's intended," Whitehair said. Near the conclusion of all this 4-hour-long hearing, Green asked councilors a series of questions regarding whether or not New View met the licensing requirements set by the city's retail marijuana code. The councilors assented to all of the points and then unanimously approved the license. And the Durango Herald wrote an update to the biggest project in southwest Colorado, kicking into the final stages of its build. Yes, you may be like a lot of people staying away from Durango during the Project COVID year of fear, but that hasn't stopped progress on the Bridge to Nowhere, as it's called. Jerry McBride provided these photos for the article. And it says that work on the final phase to connect the, quote, Bridge to Nowhere to U.S. Highway 550 atop Farmington Hill is scheduled to begin in early August, that according to Colorado Department of Transportation. Quote, "This is probably the biggest project we'll ever see here," said CDOT spokeswoman Lisa Schwantes. For years, efforts have been made to bypass the steep Farmington Hill, which state officials have said since the early 1990s will not withstand the region's expected growth in population and traffic. The project, however, has sustained numerous setbacks from issues over land negotiations, legal battles with property owners resulting in the use of eminent domain, and even the discovery of a vast network of Native American ruins. But finally, there appears to be light at the end of the tunnel or bridge. Even La Plata Electric Association crews are moving their power lines out of the way for the new highway. Quote, "Some of their utility poles and lines exist where the new alignment will be," Schwantes said, "so it needs to be moved." This past winter, CDOT awarded a $98.6 million contract to 2 Denver-based companies to design and build the realignment of Highway 550, which would direct southbound traffic to the existing interchange near Grandview. Work was supposed to commence this past spring, Schwantes said, but various factors, including the novel coronavirus pandemic, caused the process to be delayed to the summer. And as of this week, designs for the project were being finalized, Schwantes said. The hope, she said, is to start construction August 1st, though that date is subject to change over the next few weeks. Or a couple weeks now. We have a lot of folks working on this one project to move it forward, she said, and things are changing daily. Initial construction will be out of view of the public, Schwantes said, with crews focusing on building a service road off of Highway 550 on top of Farmington Hill to access the bulk of the work area. Other early work will include building bridges over gulches to preserve wildlife habitat, constructing a new retaining wall, and various projects to mitigate landslides. A lot of the early work will be done offline of Highway 550, where the new alignment will be, Schwantes said. So we're not expecting any significant traffic impacts. The public should start seeing traffic impacts in the spring of 2021, she said, as CDOT crews will start widening the road, realigning the highway, and reconstructing the intersection at the top of Farmington Hill. If all goes according to plan, CDOT expects completion of the project in the spring of 2023. It's a long time. We're really excited and confident about the plan moving forward to get this open and built, Schwantes said. Sydney Zink, a commissioner on the CDOT board who represents Southwest Colorado, said securing funding for the project has been a constant challenge, but one that ultimately was accomplished through tireless work. November of 2017, the state of Colorado's Transportation Commission approved the biggest chunk of funding. That was $54.4 million. Not long after, though, CDOT's Region 5 project funding, $29.9 million, was thrown into that project. Local agencies then threw in the Southern Ute Indian Tribe, pledged $500,000, and the city of Durango and La Plata County each pledged $250,000. A fast lane federal grant added $12.3 million for the project, and the Colorado Department of Local Affairs, or DOLA, awarded an extra $1 million in there. It's been a long time coming, Zink said, to know that people have been making fun of the bridges. That especially makes it feel like the biggest one I've accomplished in my 8 years on the board. Zink was referring to the $47 million Grandview Interchange, a network of 4 bridges, 6 retaining walls, on and off ramps, and a roundabout that were built in 2011 with the intention of connecting to Highway 550 from the south. Locals dubbed it the, quote, bridge to nowhere because it received little use. The bridges have in recent years been in use to access Three Springs subdivision, which includes Mercy Regional Medical Center. Steve Parker, a former CDOT commissioner and Durango resident who has been involved with the interchange since the early 2000s, challenged the public to come up with a new name in light of the impending completion of the project. The Bridge to Nowhere name, for example, is used on Google Maps and even has a 4.2-star review from 5 reviewers. There were 2 to 3 times where I thought we had a deal, but it didn't happen for one reason or another, Parker said. But now we're ready to go, and it's going to make that intersection so much safer. Zink said a groundbreaking ceremony that was planned for the project was canceled because of the COVID-19 outbreak. And she said an event will be planned once it is safe to do so. So if you're a fruit lover, this week is hot time for many apricot trees out there. Local harvesters are working hard to can up jam and other delights with the abundant crop this year. For those who love our local apples and the processing thereof, MORP, M-O-R-P, has been hard at work developing an area resource to pull together expertise, crops, and opportunities in our area. The Journal reported and updated that the Montezuma Orchard Restoration Project, that's MORP, in Southwest Colorado, now has a base of operations thanks to a generous donation from the Nature Conservancy and other donors. The Conservancy donated $297,000 towards the $310,000 purchase of a 36-acre property at 13751 County Road 29. That, according to MORP co-director Jude Schunemeyer. The land includes irrigation water and an historic barn. Contributions also will go towards restoration and irrigation improvements. MORP and TNC plan to transform the property into a 2,000-tree apple orchard and eventually add commercial juice pressing, apple storage, nursery tree sales, and trainings. Quote, it's a big deal to rebuild the local fruit economy. You need a base of operations, and with this generous gift, we can really begin the process, Schunemeyer said. The goal is to provide a centralized market base for the estimated 50,000 bushels of apples that fall to the ground and rot every year just in Montezuma County. By selling starter trees of heritage apples, a new generation of orchards will become established for future harvests. Quote, we are passing on this gift and are creating a genetic bank of heritage varieties in perpetuity, Schunemeyer said. A fundraising campaign continues to purchase the apple press and storage facilities. Once built, regional orchard owners will have access to a large capacity commercial center to sell their harvest. Owners can sell their apples or pay a fee to have their crop pressed and then sell the juice to cideries and juice companies. There also will be fee-based commercial storage available for apple varieties that need to age to reach their full potential before pressing. A large-scale press and more storage capacity would benefit the local industry, said Sam Perry of Fenceline Cidery in Mancos. Quote, having that bulk storage available would be great, he said. The more cider-specific varieties grown locally, the better. It is exciting to see the orchard culture continue to expand here. A pilot program just 2 years ago pressed local apples on a mobile press and attracted front-range cideries who drove away with thousands of gallons of local juice. What about small-scale agriculture? Got a little piece of land that is idle? It could make a pretty penny in the apple market. Quote, orchards are perfect for smaller acreage properties, Schoenemeyer said. A 1 to 2 acre piece of land planted with an orchard can generate good supplemental income. It's not expensive to put one in and does not require a lot of equipment. Morp wants to provide a market incentive for owners of forgotten orchards to cash in on their crop instead of letting apples rot on the ground. Partners also plan to demonstrate water conservation in orchards while saving Montezuma County's rare and endangered apples. More than 100 years ago, apples were once Colorado's main fruit crop, but over time, apple orchards gave way to hay, alfalfa, and other crops that were more lucrative and also more water intensive. Bringing back apples is not only about preserving the past, Schoenemeyer said. Apples use less water than other common crops in the area, and historic, wide-spaced orchards provide habitat for native pollinators, wildlife, and plants. By testing irrigation strategies and looking into reviving apple production, we can increase the understanding of how to best provide food and manage water sustainability for the area. The Nature Conservancy will help Morp improve irrigation efficiency and showcase efficient water use practices, such as drip irrigation and soil moisture monitoring. By planting native grasses in between the trees, like buffalo grass and blue grama, the soil will hold in more moisture and the whole area will become more resistant to drought. I've personally been in contact with Morp to see what advantages and opportunities those here in Dolores County could benefit from in order to take advantage of all of the apple orchards and potential new orchards that could be developed. It's these types of projects and collaborations that we will be needing to be growing our future in Dolores County, figuratively and literally. And for more info, check out our Facebook page online, which is DCTV Daily News. Watch the program replay along with news links and stories of local interest. And you too can share other events or news there and join in on the conversation. This is your local community TV station, so if you have something you would like to share, contact us. Email dcbnnews@gmail.com or call us and leave a message at 970-677-4119. Thanks for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. Programs are broadcast Monday through Friday with replays online on our YouTube channel or DCTV Daily News page on Facebook. And if you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Again, thank you for watching and have a great week.